Okay, welcome back to another tutorial. So we're just going to continue really where we kind of left off. So we just finished the pawn. So you can rework a bit of this topology. So one way you could do it, if you wanted to take a few of these edges out, what you could do is you could double click on it and you could hit control and backspace, and that'll allow you to take some of these edges out and lower the poly count and just clean up the mesh a little bit. Now if you was to just click select the edge and click backspace, what it actually does, it leaves the verts in. You can see you've still got verts in there, and that'll effectively create n-gons, so make sure you avoid doing that. For now I'm not going to clean mine up just yet. I think we'll leave them as they are now, and I'll get round to it later on when I've got a bit more time. What we're going to move on to anyway in this video is we're going to model the Rook. Okay, so we're going to not cheat a little bit, but we're going to just reuse some of these pieces. So you can kind of see that the base of these models here, so these reference images, they've all got the same base. It's just a different size, like the scale of it proportionally different, so that is larger to that. So what we're going to do, we're going to make use of this base that we've already created here. So I'm just going to go in my front view. Let's click G to take off the grid. We're going to go to polygon mode. I'm going to make a selection here of the lower half of our object, and I'm just going to hold shift, and I'm going to create a copy of it and line it up there. You can see it's already starting to line up straight away. Try and get it as central as you can. I mean, we are estimating a few things, so it's okay. Clone it to an object. Probably a good time to name these pieces as well now. So we'll name that the Rook. And what we'll do is, while we've got this selected as well, instead of sphere 001, we'll call this the pawn. Okay. So let's select the Rook. Now the first thing you're going to notice is the actual gizmo to move this about is way off. All right, and that's because it's maintained its original one from the sphere. So quick fix: if you select the hierarchy tab, click adjust pivots and center that pivot to the object, that should work fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this now. So again, let's just make this invisible as well. So we'll just invisible, see-through, should I say, semi-see-through. We're just going to scale that, so that's Alt X, yeah, to do that. And we're just going to scale this up best we can. Line that up, I think about there. That's pretty good. Again, let's just move it up ever so slightly just to keep it in line. So I think that's pretty good. That's a good start for us. So what we're going to do now, let's go back to the modify tab. Let's click our edge mode. Let's press what we want to do. Select this, and we want to get that scale just about right here. So just have a look. So it just looks a little bit shorter there, which I don't think is a bad thing. You just have it about there. Goes like that, I reckon. Looks like there's a little bit of a wider gap there, so we could try scaling it a little bit more. And I suppose we'd have to push it down that way, and I don't really want to squash this down as we've already got the base established. We could, I suppose, grab these top pieces and could scale these uniformly. One way of doing it actually is going into perspective view. You can actually scale these just along one axis by holding just these two here. So you can see that you've got the center here, between these 2 points here. You can actually scale it that way. So we could go back into the front view, and that lines up a little bit better. We've still got the issue here of, let's just select that ring there. So let's put a connect in that. I think we've still got that issue here where it's kind of goes out a little bit awkwardly. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a judgment call on this. think I'm going to keep it like that. I think that's close enough. You know, we are referencing them. They don't need to be the exact same. If you want to, again, you know, you've got the skills there that I've just shown you. You can actually, you know, tweak this and bring them in and kind of get that lined up a little bit better. But I think for me and what I want to show you and what I want you to use, I'm not going to bother doing that. All right, I'm going to be a little bit lazy. I'm going to improvise a little bit. Okay, so it depends on how accurate you want the model. So what we'll do is I will scale this in slightly. I'm going to then bring it up. All right, we've got this other gap, the other kind of ring here really or something, yeah, around here. So again, let's just use the scale tool. So let's scale that out ever so slightly. Again, let's do 2 of them because we're going to use this centerpiece later on like we did with the others. Scale that in, and it looks to me like it goes slightly up there, and we've obviously got the central piece that we can just scale in. Again, we're going to chamfer quite a bit of this. I think that should scale in a little bit more. Get that central piece there, and then we've got, again, let's just keep this kind of low poly for now because we can add to it as we go on. You see it gets really difficult as well to kind of see this. I'm just using shift a lot. Very pixelated. That it looks like it's got one final bit here before it actually reaches up here to these to the actual, you know, the bricks, if you like, on top. I don't know what they're called, these on a castle. Must be like an arrow shooting part or something, I don't know. Right, so that's not bad. What we need to do now is, I think I need to scale this top out here just a bit, and then we need to bring this up ever so slightly. All right, about here maybe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scale in. Now with this, there's no way to tell how thick these are, so we're just going to have to kind of estimate it really. So I'm going to have the outside ring quite thick there, maybe a little bit thicker than about there. I'm going to scale this in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a selection of these. I've just held shift there and selected all them there. I'm going to use weld, so we can just weld them together. So that should have welded all them. Got that segment done. The next thing we need to do is establish kind of how many are these. I'm taking it these 4. All right, so let's just go into the top view. I'm going to just put my view on here, or we could do it in perspective. I mean, if it's a bit easier to see. So it's 4. We need 4 selections. So let's just split this up like that. Hopefully this should be evenly broke up. Go. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they're not quite even. I think it is. Yeah, there we go. That's even now. So that's why it's always good to go in the top view as well, just to see that. So 2, 2, 2. Yeah, that's fine. Go back into perspective. And what we're essentially going to do now is we're going to extrude these using the extrude settings. So let's extrude them out. Oh, they're huge. Bring it down. Looks like Lord of the Rings. What's his name? Sauron's tower. We can bring that down. Let's just go into the front view and see how actually tall these are. So up to there. So I think that's good enough. That's all right. Okay, so we've got a lot of work to do. We just need to smooth out a few of these edges, and again, we're just going to use the same technique as before. So we're just going to chamfer some of these edges. Let's bring that out a little bit. Throw a few more in so that mesh is more even. I'm gonna chamfer again this. You know, you've got to adjust the chamfers accordingly, so make sure you do that. Again, making this a little bit smoother. That one, chamfer that, make it a little bit. Oh no, I don't need 3. In actual fact, let's go back here and see what I've done. In actual fact, I'm going to chamfer that one. Let's chamfer this. 2, 2. Click that one. Get my grid off. Into perspective. That was annoying. Scale that out ever so slightly because it was quite curved like that. I think that's okay. And get rid of that. Maybe just get rid of that one for now. See what that kind of looks like. Maybe bring this one down. Touch right here, maybe. We'll see what that looks like when it's smooth. Again, we'll bring this down a bit. Bring that one kind of up there. Let's throw a chamfer on that one. One on that one, so it's smooth. One on the bottom. Go. I don't like that one on the bottom. Edge looks a little bit tight. It looks a little bit tight, that edge there. Let's just hold shift. Scale. Using just a touch. Again, chamfer that. We chamfer that and chamfer this one. I think we're gonna have to scale that one down a bit and possibly take out, you know, a few of these. Looks like it's getting a little bit overcrowded in that area, but yeah, that looks okay. That looks pretty cool. Let's just jump up to the top, and again, you know, it's just these edges here, just sorting these out and these chamfered up really, and make sure, you know, that they do look smooth. Okay, so we've got a problem here. I'm trying to zoom in. I need to get this bit here, and it's you know, it's pushing. The camera's almost pushing through the mesh. What we need to do is, if we go to perspective, go to viewport clipping, and we actually turn these little bits and pieces up here, so your clipping arrows up, you can see that you'll be able to zoom really close in to the model's edges and the model's faces. Again, let's just, oh dear. Oh, I've deselected it, that's why. Grab that one, and for this, there we go. And we can again do this. So some people might have come across something called a turbo smooth, but again, not something that I want you using at this stage, so we're just going to avoid it for now. We're just going to get used to chamfers, putting the smooth edges in manually. So again, let's smooth that one. Got to smooth this one. Away that edge there because it's overlapping quite a bit. For that, and you can just see like some of these edges are just beginning to kind of overlap, get tight. So I'm just going to take a few out there so they're not overlapping. It's just a tiny detail on it. Again, that arm, that should be pretty smooth. It should be okay. So what we can do is we can select it, auto smooth, and we can look at the body. So let's have a look at that. That's not bad. You know, the proportion size as well in comparison to this is pretty good. Again, we can't really see the top here, so I'm assuming these edges are sharp. So you've got that sharp edge. So yeah, so we've got kind of the rook complete. It's not perfect. I do think that bottom bit does need to come out. Like looking at that now, looking at our one here, it does need to come out. It looks like it needs to be a bit bigger actually. So we can fix that. You know, it's not unfixable if you do things like this. You know, it's just about like getting the correct scale and proportions and whatnot. So we can scale this back up if we need to. We can take a few of these pieces out. So I think probably the easiest way for me to tackle that will be to actually take this area just out for now. Make a selection of this bottom half and bring that to about there. Bring it down. Then what we can do is I will actually delete this here. So again, just a little bit of on the fly editing really. Oh, let's make a selection. Bring that down there. And what we're going to do is just bridge two of these like that. It always helps align the rest up. Again, just on Alt to deselect that, bridge them, and we can go back in if we wanted to give that a little chamfer. And give this one a little chamfer as well. And then we can take a look at that now, see if that looks any better. We'll obviously have to re-smooth it, so let's just grab that, auto smooth. That to me looks a little bit better. I think the edge here is still, it still sticks out a little bit too much, so you know, we can grab that. Grab this one here. Scale that in. And just going through. There we go. That one up as well. But again, you can spend hours on these, doing these. It's attention to detail and just going back through. So that looks a little bit better, I think, personally. You know, the bottom's quite large, representative of the rook and its solid base. I think the scale in comparison to the pawn is good as well. They actually look like a decent scale if you look at them in comparison to like proper chess pieces. So I think that will do for this video. So you've seen kind of the same methods and techniques used now to create two different objects, similar shapes but quite different parts. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want you to give it a go, and I will see you in the next video.